as Karen warms up here and gets ready for the lesson today, I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to talk about in the lesson, because it's going to raise the hair in the back of a lot of necks. A lot of people don't think you should talk about the subjects I'm going to talk to Karen about today, but I think it's incredibly important to do it. When we have a player who's an APA 3 like Karen, we always tell her don't use English, don't try to spin the ball, but we don't talk to her about the reasons why. And I'm going to really be talking about the reasons why she needs to learn to hit the center of the cue ball and to pocket balls while hitting the center of the cue ball. And the reason is there are a bunch of things that affect the path of the ball when it's struck. First of all, it's affected by something called squirt or deflection. When the cue tip hits the cue ball off center on the horizontal plane, it causes that cue ball to squirt and go on a path that was unintended. Secondly, when the cue ball hits the object ball, friction between those balls cause that object ball to be thrown forward of the line. Spin on the ball causes it to be thrown in one direction or another. All these things affect the ball. When we start taking these low handicap players and teaching them about the ghost ball, they need to understand that the ghost ball is in a different location depending on how you hit the cue ball. If you hit it with right or left spin, the ghost ball is going to be in a different location. If you hit it with stun, it's going to be in a different location than it would if you're rolling the cue ball. There are all kinds of things that affect the path of the cue ball, and I think it's important to let these beginning players know that these various factors can affect the ball, and that gives them a reason for learning to hit the center of the cue ball. And that's certainly something we're going to be working on today with Karen, because she has a hard time finding the center of the cue ball. I want her to understand that the reason she's missing a lot of shots is because she's not hitting the center of the cue ball. That will help her to understand why we're asking her to hit the center of the cue ball in the first place. It's not just something we're demanding that she do, it's something that affects the outcome of her shooting. Then with our other student today, Robin, she's an APA 5. Robin wants to improve her cue ball positioning. She's learning how to shoot with English, and she also needs to understand what happens when balls collide with each other and what effect English has. Whether it be the effect from the cue stick itself with squirt and swerve causing the ball to curve, or whether it be from friction between the balls as in contact-induced throw or spin-induced throw. So we need to talk about these things, and we're going to talk about them. They seem too advanced for Karen in a lot of people's minds, but I don't think it hurts at all for people to understand the complexity of what's going on here and the fact that the ghost ball isn't always in the same location. It depends on quite a few factors. So here we go. And what we're going to talk about is aiming. And the reason I'm doing the way I'm doing it is you and I are working on some fundamental issues. For example, you're having difficulty hitting the center of the cue ball on a regular basis. And so we're trying to line up her stroke to be able to do that. And one of the elements that may be most likely responsible for that is your predilection to do two things. One is you love to have a big long bridge like this, and that makes you less accurate. So we worked on fixing that. And the other thing is you like to put your thumb up here like this. And that inhibits the motion of the stick. So the stick almost has to go in a curved path if you're engaging your thumb in things. Because what we want it to do is be held loosely by the fingers and then rock back and forth like that. We don't want any of these muscles in any way controlling the stick. It's just hanging there on a loop and is swinging on a pendulum. Okay. So if you think about how a pendulum swings, if you pull it back and let go of it, if you let go of it evenly, it's going to swing in a straight line. But if there's any, like my thumb's in the way right now, what happens? It swings in a circle. And that's exactly what happens when you get your thumb in the way like this. When you pull back like this, your pressure from your thumb is pushing on that stick, and it's going to cause it to go in a curved path, and you're going to hit the cue ball off center. Okay. So the next, what I want to talk about, because Robin's a much more experienced player. She's APA 5, although you drop back to a 4, right?
In 9 ball, I'm a 4.
Okay. 8 ball, you're a 5. And a 5 is a player that in general can pocket balls really well, but usually struggle with two things. One is tactical, and I don't think tactical is your issue. I watched an A5 on our team the other night. Even though we won our playoff, he would have 7 balls on the table. He'd run 6 of them off and then get stuck on the 7th one, and then the 2 that he was playing against would just save him to death. And he did it 3 games in a row, and that's what 5s do. 5s are really good at pocketing balls, but they're generally bad at getting position, and they're bad at tactics. Robin's deal is she knows tactically what to do, but it is cue ball control and the aiming that goes along with it, because a big part of cue ball control is aiming. And so, have you ever been to azbilliards.com?
No.
It's the main forum for billiards. There's 2 big ones. One is onepocket.org and the other one is azbilliards.com. And if you go on there, you can find probably, I don't know, 50 or 100 discussions of aiming tactics and techniques. And there is no such thing as aiming every single, in fact, I'm going to ask you, you're an APA 3, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to tell me, come over here and tell me where I have to aim on that ball to hit it into the pocket. Take your finger and put it exactly on the spot where you think you could knock it in the pocket. Right there, right? Okay, how about if I put it over here? Put your finger exactly where it needs to be. Yeah, you know where to aim every single time, right? Mm-hmm. What about over there? The other day I gave this problem to a player who's a 660 Fargorate, 667. I said, put the ball down there, because we were talking about aiming. And I said, I can prove to you that aiming isn't the problem. Stroke is always the problem. So I said, shoot that several times. And he made it about half the time. Well, he's a high 600s. He's almost, just 100 points from being a very good pro. So it's not aiming. It's when you miss a ball, it's almost never aiming. You knew where to aim. Mm-hmm. So when you have these little shots and you miss these little shots, it's not the aiming that you're missing. So how do you aim, though? What do you have to do to properly understand from an angle how you have to hit that ball to aim it in? Because you know what it is from a straight line like this, right? And to do that, the only approach I am willing to teach is this one, which is to imagine that spot that you pointed at when I put the ball there. If I put a ball right on that spot, that's called a ghost ball, right? Mm-hmm. No matter where this ball is, if I'm shooting at that one ball and trying to get it in, no matter where this ball is, it's aimed at the same exact spot on that ball. Okay. The same exact spot. And the thought that I like to get people to have is, I'm going to replace this ball with this imaginary ball that I have in my head. So I'm picturing that ball there, and I'm going to replace the cue ball with that ball, like so. So if you go over there, Karen, and you line up the center of the cue ball on the center of that ball, and I remove it just before you shoot. You get ready to shoot, and I remove it just before you shoot, and you just replace that cue ball with where that's at. This ball. Huh?
The ghost ball?
Yeah, I'm going to pull this ball out of the way, and I want you to pocket that ball. Okay? You tell me when you're ready. You're shooting right at the center of that ball.
I'm ready.
Well, what do you know? It went in the pocket. Now, here's the thing. If I put that out there, the shot gets harder because it's a longer distance. And it's not that it's any harder a shot. It's not a harder shot, but it's a longer distance, and therefore any error you input to it. So if I hit this ball right now, I have a cone this wide where it can enter the pocket, right? It can enter this side of the pocket and it'll still go in. It can enter this side of the pocket and it'll still go in. It can go in the center of the pocket and it'll still go in. But the further I'm away from that, like if the cone for this is right here, now when the ball's out here, that cone is right here. And if you hit the edge of that cone, now it gets wider and it comes out here. So you're shooting exactly the same shot in both of these cases. And I'm going to do the ghost ball thing again, and I want you to replace the ghost ball.
From here.
Yeah, let me just make sure that's perfectly straight. Okay, you ready?
No, I wasn't ready.
So let's try it again. You're putting the center of the cue ball right where the center of the 7 ball is. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, Robin, let's see you do it. I'm going to tell you what's happening in a minute.
Okay. You want me to do it from here? Or?
Yeah, from right there. And I'll put a ghost ball there, and I want you to replace the ghost ball. Wait. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, she hit the ghost ball. Now I want you to just make the ball. I want you to pocket that ball. Actually, I was over here a little bit easier shot. Go ahead and make that ball. That time she made it. Why'd she make it when it was a harder shot? Do it again, Robin. Let's see it. Let's see it again. If she hits the ghost ball, it doesn't go in, because the ghost ball isn't real. It really doesn't tell you where the ball's supposed to go, because how these two balls impact each other make a huge difference. And the reason I'm talking to you right now the most, Karen, about this is because, first of all, Robin's brain automatically compensated and put the ball where it really needed to be, which is a slight overcut. In other words, if you're over here and you want to make that ball in that pocket, you have to aim over here like this to make it in that pocket. Okay. So the ghost ball really needs to be aimed off to that edge of the pocket. Why is that? Because when this ball contacts this ball, the friction from the two balls throws it forward off of that line towards this edge of the pocket.
Okay.
And what I'm going to get to in a minute is why there's no trick that you can do to aim. You have to learn how to aim by shooting balls in. And that's what I'm going to get to in a minute, is you have to aim by shooting balls in. Now there's another thing that happens. Why don't you go over here, Karen, and shoot that ball in this pocket. I think you can do that shot. Okay. Let's see if you can do it again. Okay, let's see if you can do it again, but this time I want you to put a bunch of right English on it. I want you to hit the right side of the cue ball and hit it hard.
The right side of the
like you did the first shot. Yeah, get your tip all the way over to the right side of the cue ball. Okay. Oh, geez, you almost missed it, right? The reason that happened is because of a thing called squirt. So first of all, the first thing to know about aiming is that if you're going to aim across a ball like this, when it hits that ball, it's going to throw it forward a little bit. But also, if you hit the right side of this cue ball, it makes it squirt in this direction a little bit.
Okay.
And it makes you miss that shot. You almost missed it. You hit it twice in a row, dead center, and then the third shot, because you were putting English on it, you almost missed it. So there's not a place to aim on the ball. Where you're going to aim on the ball depends on what you want the cue ball to do and where you're going to hit the cue ball. If you hit the cue ball low, in the middle, or high, it affects how much of this thing called throw there is. So now I'm going to show you how this friction works. And this is all meant for you to get why I'm asking you to not ever put English on the ball unless you're in a timeout and somebody tells you to.
You talking to me?
So, where's that ball headed if I hit it with the cue ball?
Where's it headed?
Yeah, I want you to tell me where you think it'll hit the rail down there, using the same instincts you used when you were pointing at these balls over here.
I think you're just on the left side of the...
Over here?
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there.
Okay. You're right. If I hit that right there, it's going to go right over there where you said it would. Actually, I need to aim it further left. I had it aimed too much towards the pocket. So now it's aimed way over this way. You see that? You agree?
Yes.
Okay. So if I shoot that, it goes way over that way, right? Now if I take the same ball arrangement and I'm going to have you agree again that it's aimed way over there, right?
Yeah, just left of the pocket.
If I hit it from a different direction, right now it's aimed left of the pocket. If I hit it from over here, I'm probably going to miss the pocket on the right by a long ways. So if I hit that straight on, the ball will go to the left of the pocket. If I hit it from the side, it goes way right. Not a little bit right, but way right of what it did. That's happening when you're aiming too. So when you're aiming at a ball from this angle, when you hit the ghost ball position, it's going to go straight towards the pocket. But if you aim at it from this angle, it's going to get thrown in that direction. So what this is all about is telling you that there is no way to use a trick like a spot on the ball or aim the left side of your cue stick at this or that or the other thing. The only way to learn how to pocket balls is to pocket balls. You have to hit as many balls as you can. And so spin affects it. So if the ghost ball is there and I hit it with outside spin, so the ball's spinning this way when it gets to it, I need to hit the ghost ball position because whatever throw forward that's going to have is offset by this spin back.
Okay.
And if this spinning this way, I have to overcut it even more because it's not only going to be thrown that way because of this momentum from this throwing it forward, but this spin is throwing it forward too. So I have to aim it over that way in order to get it to go that way.
Okay.
So all this is to tell you that the only way to learn to aim is to shoot balls in. And so that's what we're going to do next.
Okay.
But there's one other thing I want to tell you about it.
So I don't try to hit it. I don't try to spin it. I try to hit it in the middle. Why am I not hitting it in the middle?
Because your fundamentals need some work.
Okay.
Your grip needs some work. Your bridge needed some work, but you're doing a lot better with your bridge now, and your stroke needs some work. And that's what we'll work on separately when you and I get together one-on-one. But I wanted to go through this aiming thing because you do want to use the ghost ball, but you're using the ghost ball as a reference point, not as an exact thing. So roughly you need to know where that ghost ball position is going to be. And then you ask the question, well, how do you determine what the ghost ball position is? Well, I'm going to show you something that's absolutely true about every shot from every position on the table. No matter what shot it is, no matter whether it's straight in, no matter what. And that is this. If I figure out where the ghost ball position is on this ball, and let's just say it's right there. So that's aimed straight at the pocket, right? Okay?
Me, yeah.
When I hit that with a cue ball, straight on, the spot that the cue ball needs to hit that to occupy the ghost position is, if I stand behind it, is the exact mirror image of that ball. It looks exactly like that ball. This is something that you can picture in your mind. And Robin, I think this is really important for you to picture this in your mind. Human beings do things like, did we go through this thing before, Karen, where here.
Oh, we did.
No, did you? Where you catch the thing?
Yeah.
So when a human being does that, they're doing it entirely with their eyes, and they're wiring it to their lower brain, and they're communicating with the muscles in their arm. But it's all visual. And shooting a pool ball in is all visual. There's no such thing as a pro who's using a mechanical method to shoot. They're all picturing what those balls, where those, what they have to do with their stroke in order to put the ball in. Not where do they have to hit it. They're thinking about where they have to hit it. That's one element of it. But really what it's about is, how do I have to stroke the ball in order to make that? Now, if that ghost ball position's in the same spot, when I have a straight in and I flip this ball straight over, that's exactly a mirror image. It's right in the center, right? But what if I'm over here? Well, now, if I'm going to bring those two spots together from here, now when I stand in line and I flip this over, it's a mirror image again, an exact mirror image. So I'm not bringing any point. All I'm doing when I aim a cue ball is I'm connecting these 2 points that are exact mirror images of that. So this part of the cue ball has to hit that part of that ball. And if you can picture that, you get behind the cue ball. Like right now, Robin, come on over here and picture that you have to make that exact mirror image of this ball meet that ball. Doesn't that make a direct line? Mm-hmm. But it's not a line along the line of your cue stick. It's a line parallel to the line of your cue stick. So however far you are over on this side of that dot, you have to be that far over on that side of that dot in order to bring these two dots together. You see that? So you have to be aiming out here so that you bring that dot to that dot.
Oh, okay.
You see that? This is a direct line from here to here. And so you can picture that, even if this is on the back side, you can look at that ball and you can get behind this cue ball and you can look at how much of that ball it needs to eclipse in order to be at the ghost ball point. This is all a picture or an image that you have in your mind. You follow what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter where you are. The two contact points stay the same no matter where you are on the table. So if I bring this over here now, and I want to put that ball in that pocket, I'm going to have to shoot it like that so these two contact points meet. And that means if I flip this over, the mirror image now is a teeny thin sliver on each ball. And now I'm bringing this spot together with that spot in a straight line. That means the center of the cue ball is aimed way outside this ball. But I can picture where that is because I can see the relationship on the two balls. I know that the little sliver I'm seeing to the contact point there equals the little sliver on the cue ball that has to meet it. And then all this is colored by, if there's spin on it, it's a slightly different spot. And the fuller the cut is, up to a certain point, the more that friction effect is going to affect it. But you only get that from feel.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is, now that you've had this, I painted this picture of what the picture looks like, why don't we do a drill where you guys just set up balls for each other, something like this, and do 5 shots each and take turns. If you have somebody setting the ball up for you, it makes it a lot faster and easier. And you're just picturing that. So I'm coming over here, I'm seeing where my contact point is. It's right there, right? I see it as being right midway between the bottom of that ring there and that green band. I come over here, I can see that spot, and I can see how much of that ball I would have to eclipse to do that. Then I look down at this ball and I say, okay, that point right there has to meet that point right there. So when you have a quarter ball hit, the point that you're hitting is halfway between the edge of the cue ball and the edge of the object ball, and it makes a mirror image. It's actually a flipped over mirror image because this is on the front side of the 8 ball here and this is on the back side of the cue ball, but they meet in an exact mirror image. And it doesn't matter what level you're hitting. With a half ball hit, it's the same thing. It's a mirror image. And finally, for a 3/4 ball hit, it's also a mirror image. So this is the picture that I like to have people develop in their minds, is that of the point that they're meeting being halfway and being a mirror image on each of these balls. 5 or 6 in a row, you'll find yourself honing in on it. Put it right in about there, right on that. No, you want it over this way. That's too tough a shot. Okay? You had spin on that ball. You can see the spin, right?
Mm-hmm. Not as much as I thought I was going to have, but yeah.
So while you're doing it, I'm going to look and see if I can see what that spin is from. So you've got your hand way back away from the cue ball right now. You should be a lot, there you go. Okay, you had right spin on it again.
Still spinning.
And your thumb is on top of your stick. Bring your thumb down next to your stick. There you go. She just wants it on top.
Just let it dangle.
Let it dangle, yeah. That's perfect. See how after 2 or 3 shots you start to hone it in, and then you'll probably lose it again. It's funny. But this is your brain taking over and making that shot. So I like the way you hang your pinky down. I want you to hang that index finger down too, and just use those 2 middle fingers, but keep your thumb there. See, just like that. You don't have to overemphasize it, but to start with, it wouldn't hurt. You keep that thumb and that index finger out of the way and you'll make a lot more shots. No, you want your thumb on the stick, but not on top of it, on the side of it, yeah. So you're forming a loop there between your thumb and those 2 middle fingers. It's like When you're fishing, did you ever do a loop knot on a bait?
No.
Well, it's a loop, so the bait dangles and hangs loose. It's not restricted by the knot. It's a loop. So if my hand is hanging, if this stick is hanging in my hand like this, this is the way I want you to hold it. See, the thumb is down here, it's touching there, but I have a loose opening right here. So when I swing this, it swings straight. If I have any muscle tension on this, when I swing it, it won't go straight anymore. If I just have a loose loop like that, and I run the tip, let's say I run the tip right along here like that. Now if I grip this really hard, now my grip is controlling it and it can go like that, and that's what's happening with you. Your thumb is on top of here, and as you swing back, it puts pressure on it to the side. You're pushing it this way. And then as you go forward, it's releasing that pressure and it's curving.
Okay.
So you want there to be no tension, sideways tension on this thing. And this is a great way to check the straightness of your swing. It's just swinging back and forth at the end of a pendulum. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's this musculature. Yeah. This lower arm musculature is what destroys most shots, because it imparts spin on the cue ball, and the spin on the cue ball changes the ghost ball position.
It's hard to do because I haven't done it enough, so I can't feel it, and I can't see it because it's back here.
And you can't see it happening because it's only a couple of millimeters of swoop.
More?
Yeah, you go ahead and do more of that. Robin, you did a few, right?
I did several.
What? Okay, what are your thoughts about this, Robin, this aiming thing?
It's kind of what I do anyway.
Yeah.
I do mostly by feel. Except I missed that one. Pressure, pressure. That one too. The spin on that one.
Make sure you hold your tip at the end of the stroke, okay, Robin? I'm just trying to see whether you have a swoop in it.
Oh, got that one. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna video you. I want to show you something.
Me?
Yeah. Okay. Let's all three take a look at this. Come on down here, Robin. Okay, I want you to watch your hand. See how it swoops out? Mm-hmm. Your hand is jumping way out like this. Okay. Watch it. Watch again. How do I get this going again? Oh, that little arrow thing there. Watch your hand come out.
It's not Facebook.
It's coming out a long ways.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's happening.
Okay.
I think there's two things. Let's look at it one more time. Okay, so I'm going to get behind you, and I want you to do it again, then we'll do Karen too. I think that your hand's a little bit trapped behind your hip.
Okay.
So I think there's two things you can do with this. And I can't quite see from behind, but from the front, it looked like you were torquing your hand out like that. Okay, when you do that, it causes this to
Right.
curve. We're not talking, I'm curving it 3 inches, you're curving it a millimeter or 2. But that's enough to make you miss the shot, and it's enough to impart spin that you didn't expect
Right.
on it, because you're expecting the tip. If you're lining up your tip right here, and it comes out 2 millimeters to the left because you swooped it like that, then you're going to miss the shot probably. So come on around here, Robin. Actually, let me go over here because it's in better view of that camera right there. And let's talk about lining up. So if you're going to line up this shot for the center of that pocket, you're coming back here, you're getting your line right, you're getting your eye over it, which you do very well. You're right eye dominant. You come down on it. Now, right now, you're a bit trapped like this. So when I'm looking at you straight down the stick, I can't even see your hand because it's trapped behind your body. Oh. And it's not because you're so large-breasted either. So women always make up that excuse, my breasts were in the way. That's what Karen did the other day. That's not it. That's never it. Because you can always create clearance. Even if you're a big fat man, you can create clearance. So the way you create clearance, you have to have your head over it like this, but then you have to step over like this while keeping your head there. What you're doing is stepping forward like this, and your hand's ending up trapped behind your hip. And then it has to swoop outwards like that. So we want to create about 6 inches of clearance here. For your size of your body, maybe 4 inches. But we want to end up starting out next to the hip like that and ending up with this kind of clearance. And if you look at Mark Wilson online, you will see this is the kind of clearance he has every single time he leans over to shoot, because he doesn't want any part of his body impinging on that stroke. He wants that arm to be dangling out here like this.
I shift here, turn, set, and check. And do you see, I didn't check, but yeah, you can see my chin is clearly behind the joint here. And then there's clearance here. Even though I'm a big guy, there's enough clearance.
Okay, and here's what I do, because I have exactly the same flaw, is when I'm stressed or I'm about to shoot hard, and I learned this from watching myself on the video loop, which you should do the video loop. Put your phone on, you know, I've got that phone mount there. Put it there, get the time lag thing that I have. It's a 5-second time lag. You take the shot and you look up and you see what you did. And what I do is when I'm stressed and my arm is hanging appropriately like this, which is the way you're supposed to do it, when I'm stressed, as I'm shooting, this hand torques out like that. So what I learn to do whenever I'm on a stressful shot is start out with my hand torqued. Oh. I can't torque it any further. So if that's the motion my body wants to make, I'm restricting it. I'm starting it out already at the maximum, so it can't go any further that way. So I don't always do it. If I have a nice soft shot to shoot and it's not stressful, I just let my arm hang. But when I have a longer shot, I think about it a lot more, or a more difficult shot, and I torque that hand out, and it turns out. And that's something you might try just as a trick for a while. But what I'd rather see you do is work on where do I have to place my left foot to create this kind of clearance instead of doing this. That when you're just stepping forward, you're doing this. And I found in working with people that it's this sideways step that creates that clearance. Now that means you got to crane your neck a little more like you're trying to shoot a rifle. But it creates the clearance that you need. So your arm, you know, the whole thing is about having this arm dangling out here, right? Having it on a string.
I do have it close.
Yes, you have it too close. So yeah, let's try to line you up.
And you can step out a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, even more so, I think. Well.
Yeah, that feels really awkward.
Okay.
I'm not very
Stand up straight with your hand next to your hip. And now just step straight over sideways. Not, yeah, like that. Okay. It's the turn of the hips. When you go straight over sideways, you don't create much of any clearance at all. But what you have to do is turn your hips like this. Watch this. Okay? I'm not just stepping over further like this to get the clearance. I'm sticking my butt out a little bit and turning my hips like that. Okay? My back leg's going to end up straight. My front leg flexed, and I strongly recommend that you keep the back leg straight. And that's for endurance, because if you're playing a tournament, you're going to be playing for 6 or 8 hours through the day. Every little bit of flexing you do is costing you energy. Yes. But, so, one of the things I notice about you is because you're so short, you have to have your stick up here further than most of us do. Like if you look at me, my hand is still down by your hip, but yours isn't. You're up here like this more. I think you just have to live with that, or you can do what Earl Strickland does and wear platform shoes. I think that's going to be important for you, Robin.
Okay.
I think we found something. Let's look at Karen's stroke.
Platform shoes. You get me a platform shoe.
Should do the same shot, and this time we're going to take a look at your stroke. These little things make a big difference. Give you a little easier shot this time. You saw how much your hand was swooping though, right? I mean, that's a big deal. Okay. Yeah, yours is great. Yours was perfectly straight.
Still holding it with my thumb.
Your hand was. I didn't look at the stick. Go ahead, try it again. Yeah, it's imperative that you get rid of that thumb thing as soon as possible. Wow, you're really hitting it off center. I'm going to show you something. Just go ahead and do a few more shots. I mean, don't do a few more shots. Take a few more shots. I'm just going to look at your behind. I mean, watch you from behind. Yeah, you can bring that thumb and those fingers together. Just make sure that they're loose. Yeah, you're hitting way off to the right on the cue ball. Do you know that?
No.
You don't realize it?
Because of my eye?
I don't think so.
Because I actually did that when we were playing, I don't know, one of these last games. I had to get way down on a ball and hit it just so, and I actually did, like, close one eye and then close the other eye, and it went, whew,
Yeah, it's way off. Yeah.
and I just...
Okay. This is you. Somewhere in between there and there.
Okay.
These are repeated shots where the player's trying to hit the center of the ball. And this is Mark Wilson's book. I've gone to 3 or 4 of his clinics before. An elite professional player, this is 800 Fargorate, is going to be within a millimeter or 2. A really good but average professional player is going to be 3 or 4 millimeters. This is an average amateur player. And this is an entry-level player. You're almost at the entry-level player stage because your tip's coming, you're not oriented in, even close to the center of the cue ball. So we need to work on that a little bit. So why don't you line up on that? And let's get ready to take that shot. And then freeze on it, and we're going to, yeah, go ahead and just go ahead and take the shot.
Like, actually...
Okay, tell me when you're ready to take the shot.
No.
Okay, stay right there. Don't move it. Your tip is hitting way off to the right now.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
You need it to be right there. So stand up again and come back into it and try again. I'm going to line this up. So don't use, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Tell me when you're ready to shoot.
There.
Okay, you're way off to the right now. You're not a little bit off to the right, you're way off to the right. That's going to spin like crazy.
I don't understand that.
And it's going to squirt in that direction, so you're going to hit the ball too full.
So how am I missing the center when I think I'm on the center?
Try this. Look down at the bottom of the cue ball as you're getting ready to shoot and stand back as far as you can. Find the bottom of the cue ball right in line with the shot you want to take. And so it's almost going to be halfway across that shadow down there, right in there. And use that and picture in your mind's eye bringing your tip up to the center. You can do that, or you can look at the top of the ball and come down. But there's a point where it peaks at the top of the ball, and you got to be able to see that.
There.
You ready? You're still off to the right. Go ahead, try again. I'm going to put a mark on the ball. I want to just see how far off you are. I think it's about 3-4 millimeters.
There.
Okay, you ready? Okay, the center of the stick right now is right there. And the center of the ball is, yeah, you're only a millimeter or two off. But you got to get a feel for that, and the best way to get the feel for it is the mother of all drills, which means shooting it up and down the center of the table, and do that 100 times. Mm-hmm. Come in here and don't do anything else for an hour except figure out where the center of the cue ball is. You can't do much of anything until you figure out where the center of the cue ball is. And believe me, this is not just you. Probably 50% of the people that start to do this more seriously, they can't find the center of the cue ball. You have to work at finding the center of the cue ball. And that means it has to be part of your regimen. When you come up to it, you have to be looking at some things on the cue ball that orient you to where the center is.
I think
So-
it's the shadow that throws me off.
Well, then ignore the shadow. Whatever you have to do. Robin, let's try something with you now. Can you help spot balls for her,
Yeah.
Karen? But that's what you need to work on, Karen, finding the center of the cue ball.
So,
What I'd like you to do, Robin, is to do this thing that I talked about, which is to start out with your wrist torqued out.
oh,
Start out with your wrist kind of torqued
Like
out, and yeah, but you have to do that while the rest of your arm is dangling. In other words, everything has to be limp. You're just twisting your hand out like that. Yes, just like that. But then the rest of this should be dangling. Let's try that. Okay, and we're gonna, well, of course, this is something I say to every single person I work with. If it feels uncomfortable, then you might be doing it right. Because if you've been doing it wrong, that's what's comfortable, right?
Right.
Now, your hand stayed a lot straighter that time, but sometimes it does anyway. I want you to shoot it sharply. Torque it out. But here's the thing. Now, when you torque it out, you have to do it while you're aligning yourself while you're standing up. You can't wait till you're down and then torque it.
okay.
Because
Then when it's dangling.
it's part of your alignment process.
Like right
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I'm just,
Like that?
yeah. You want to come into it like that and do your aiming like that. And now come down on it. And I'm not necessarily telling you need to shoot like this. What I'm trying to do is demonstrate what happens when you can't torque it out.
So, no, it's good to know that if I'm going to hit it hard, that I might want to do that.
You might want to torque it out like that. These things always show up when you start shooting harder.
Oh, yeah.
Now that doesn't feel terrible, does it?
No.
So you might want to practice like that a little bit.
On hard shots.
And then at other times you can work on trying to keep from doing it. That's a big deal, to keep from doing it. Okay? But I don't want you to do this shot anymore. I want you to come here, put the ball on the spot and shoot it up there, and let's work on getting you to the center of the cue ball. Perfect. Okay, what'd you do to straighten it out?
Followed my line. Concentrated on the center of the ball and the point I was aiming at.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, get on your line while you're standing back there. 95% of your aiming is done from back there. All the rest is just a little bit of fine tuning after you get down. If you find yourself readjusting your aim after you're down on the ball, you have to stand back up. That time you hit dead center on the ball, but you hit off to the left a little bit on the line. That's what the beauty of this...
But that's better than right.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this drill, is that you can judge both whether you had the line right and whether you put undesired spin on the ball. Now just watching Bustamante for 2 strokes made your stroke smooth out.
Really?
I'm telling you, if I want to shoot well, if it's like playoff night, I just watch Bustamante for 5 minutes. I ignore everything else he's doing, the shoulder drop, the wimpy wrist, all that. And I watch that forward stroke.
He doesn't shoot it. He's not shooting. He's shooting a 1. And he made it. Wow, nicely struck. Come on, Buster, yeah. That was a shot there. Yeah.
Much, 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 much better. If you do this before each match that you play, and you get where you're hitting the center of the cue ball, you're going to make more balls, and you're going to get better position. So this is your homework assignment.
Every time.
Do this 100 times. Robin, your homework assignment is to 2 things. 1, work on doing sharp, crisp, long shots with your hand already torqued out. And what's the other one?
The stroke through, the Bustamante.
No, yeah. Well, that's something to look at once in a while. I was going to tell you something else. Oh, get that app and watch yourself shoot.
Oh, what's the app?
It's called time delay, or video delay.